It was unlike anything Ryan Nugent-Hopkins ever experienced, a reminder of everything had worked for all these years, everything he wished for when entered the NHL on that day, now so long ago. Of course, he had tasted the Stanley Cup Playoffs. The Edmonton Oilers made Western Conference second round in 2017, but missed the playoffs next 2 seasons. They then lost the qualifying round 2020, and the first round 2021. But this was different. The Oilers made the Western Conference Finals in 2022, and were swept by eventual Stanley Cup winners Colorado Avalanche. And at Nugent-Hopkins, despite having spent 11 seasons in an NHL career, at 29, he could have been more. "You taste a little and you definitely want more," said Nugent-Hopkins. "You want to keep improving." I think that ignited the fuel in the stomachs of most of us. Is showing. Nugent-Hopkins reaches new heights in his NHL career with goals, assists and points, gaining looks that transform the largely loyal Nugent-Hopkins as brighter, more flamboyant teammates like Connor McDavid and Leon. Draisaitl helped the All-Oilers take 3rd place in the Pacific Division. If the playoffs started today, they're 3 points behind second-place Los Angeles Kings, and have chance to close 5-point gap to top-ranked Vegas Golden Knights when 2 teams face off at T-Mobile Arena in Vegas on Tuesday. Afternoon ET, ESPN+, HULU, TVAS, SN1. "I see someone whose game is improving," said Oilers coach Jay Woodcroft. "Last year I saw someone who went for the first time, in a deep playoff run, got a taste of hockey in May, and June tried to be his best." The 29-year-old's previous NHL career records came in 2018-19, with 28 goals, 41 assists, and 69 points in 82 games. And he's warming up at the right time, pushing an 8-game point streak into Tuesday. This streak has 13 points including a game-winning goal, and an assist in Monday's Oilers' 5-4 win over the Arizona Coyotes. Nugent-Hopkins has 18.8% of his shots, which is very different from the 7.1% of his 50-point shots in 2021-22. "I don't know if was disappointed with the year I had last year, but definitely wanted to improve it and hold on a little longer. Getting into the playoffs ignited that a little bit. I came into this season with the mentality to help a little bit more on the offensive side of things. So far it's worked. It's not easy to stand out on a team that boasts 2 top goal scorers in the NHL, McDavid and Draisaitl. It's not easy to make headlines or distract attention for offense. And yet, in the NHL, we have Dallas Stars forward Jason Robertson and Nugent-Hopkins, who is 9th in the scoring. When came in this year, in my first role as assistant coach, or last year, I saw things that maybe hadn't seen before," Woodcroft said. "He plays in every situation, he touches many parts of the game. He spent a lot of time working on his shot. I'm quite pleased. I've played offense for years and I'm proud to do it at his age." What stood out for Dave Tippett, who coached Oilers from 2019-22, was confidence he could always give Nugent-Hopkins, whether on ice or off ice, he had to do it. Video OTTEDM Nugent-Hopkins leads Oilers with PPG Tippett first met the forward as head coach of Team North America at the 2016 World Hockey Cup. "When I first realized how good of a player he was at the World Cup," Tippett said. "I was managing a penalty kill for that team, he was one of our main S, and you really have to see his intelligence, how he thinks about the game. With Nuge, his sense of hockey is top-notch. He reads situations so a coach can rely on him in those situations. He has an excellent skill level. Do it enough times and Nuge has the skill level to get things done." For Tippett, one of Nugent-Hopkins' main benefits as a player was his versatility, the value that came from his skill pack. It was never about prime numbers. This season, however, Nugent-Hopkins has blown them up. "When I say I've scaled up my game, people think by now you have to scale it up," Nugent-Hopkins said. "But sometimes things come together just in time. Since I've been in the league and have watched him, he's always been a great player," said forward Derek Ryan. "I think he's an absolutely elite shooter, and he's more shots, and putting himself in the scoring position this year than I've seen before. He's always been an elite quarterback, just because he's so good at making those little games, finding guys are open, getting past the sticks. He fits that mold and power play unit, but I just saw him find space and more shots this year. Do it. Ultimately, Tippett said, what makes Nugent-Hopkins so special this year, and before, is his role as glue that holds team together, kind of player who can play and adapt anywhere in lineup. Team wants. There are people who touch so many different parts of the game, and he's one of those players, Tippett said. He's a guy who goes about his business quietly, and there's nothing really sensational about what he does, but he does everything well. And when that type of player reaches top 10 status in the points race. Attention! In the previous 11 seasons with the Nugent-Hopkins Oilers, who picked themselves number 1 in the 2011 NHL draft, they had only made for playoffs. That means the 7-time forward and his teammates ended the season very early. Obviously we've been to playoffs before, but you were knocked out in the first round, and you have to start over in next season, said Nugent-Hopkins. When you get down to the last 4 teams in the league, you realize how possible that is, how close we were last year, and we still have 2 more laps to win. A lot of the players who were there felt that too. You're excited to come back next year and do it again, really start putting the pressure from day one and make sure we give ourselves the opportunity to get it, luck again. This is where goals, all the assists and energy come from. Even in his 12th season in the NHL, Nugent-Hopkins has a renewed focus and renewed life. He's forcing himself. He's pushing the Oilers. Even if you don't watch it, it's there. It's flying under the radar, Woodcroft said. But he's definitely appreciated by the coaching team and his teammates. I think it says a lot about him getting deep and improving his game, the person and his focus. I'm going back to the race we had last year. I think he took action to improve the run